All right. Hey, Glenn.
Hey, Chris, how are you?
I'm doing great, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful.
Awesome.
It is Tuesday,
It's
November
another show.
15th
Yeah.
that we're recording this, and great days ahead, man.
Okay. Already? You're already starting off like this?
What? What?
All right. It's gonna,
No, I'm actually
listen,
excited
you know what?
because the first night of Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam was last night.
Oh, was it? I need to
Yeah,
go
at
see
the
that.
Hollywood
We
Studios.
talked about that before. I haven't,
Yeah.
I haven't
You
made
know
plans
what's
yet.
what's really cool is the Disney blogger community.
Yeah.
They are so obsessive that whenever there is a new anything at Disney,
Yep.
they are there. They are Johnny on the spot, and they're there, and they record it, take photos of it,
Yep.
and then they write all about it, their
Yep.
opinions and everything. And so living away from Disney, you get to experience everything.
Gosh. That's
Probably more than if I lived there.
the last time I didn't live near Disney. Not that I go that often, but the last time, like when I was super into everything going out the parks and all that, was I think the way I kept up with Disney news was literally in Usenet groups. Do you remember Usenet groups?
I do. Yes, I do.
Did you ever deal with those? Are you?
I
are
did
you elderly enough to know those?
yes, I am before
Yep.
AOL came around. Because
Yeah.
AOL started having like an official Disney presence, and Orlando
Oh, really?
Sentinel had a presence, and they had a Disney specific area, and so. But before AOL, Usenet groups were it, man.
Yeah, I remember. It's what was it? Was it alt.parks.disney
They
or something? Like
they
that?
still exist.
Do they really? Like, but,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
are they? Last
I
time I
mean-
checked Usenet, they were just nothing but like spam junk out there. Are they?
It's a lot of that, but they're still out there. They still
Okay,
exist.
good. I used to love Usenet news groups. I thought they were the best. Then I went to forums, and then but by that point I was
Yes.
pretty much here. So web forums, and now I guess it's just on the socials, right?
Well, pretty much, because you're right. Forums and a lot of the people I follow, I found on the forums. A lot of the bloggers and photographers and everything else. The WW Magic that's the one I went to religiously every day, all the time.
Yep.
And then, once people started leaving there and branching out and getting their own sites and everything else, as everything started to mature in the internet world, now I use RSS to follow everything. But
So what you're
'cause
saying
there's
right
just
now
so
is that
much
we
out
have,
there.
is that we have a mature internet? Is that what I heard you say?
Yeah, sure. Very mature. This anyway. so
Yeah.
Jingle
here
Bell,
it is.
Jingle
Here it
Bell.
is. Well, hang on. It's rec.arts.disney.parks. That's
There you
the
go.
group I used to follow. But yeah. Anyway. So yeah, but you're right. They do cover it a lot these days. It's great. We get to sit in the comfort of our homes and then just get stuff fed to us. But
That's right.
What did you see? You see something specific?
I did. So the first review I read about Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam was from Tom Bricker. He is there on vacation, or he's there simply to cover this. I don't know, but so he took his pictures and gave his review. And he and his wife were huge fans of the Osborne Lights, like
My kind of people.
yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah.
a lot of us, but they meant a lot to him. So I think he went into it, reading through it, and he admits it. He's fairly straightforward, but he admits that he was kind of hoping for references to like the Osborne Lights, maybe some of the music, things
Oh,
like
I see.
that.
Yeah.
And there's none of that. It's a story with Wayne and Lanny from Prep and Landing. So he enjoyed it, but you can't. The main point to take from it is that it's not, even though this is kind of the replacement for Osborne Lights, it's not the Osborne Lights. It's
Yeah,
not.
I don't
the
think I
same.
would go in expecting that. It's just a holiday spectacle at the park, right? So,
Right.
But yeah, gosh, I'm actually kind of surprised anybody would expect any sort of direct reference or handoff because that just didn't even occur to me. But
So he gives it fairly decent marks. But like I said, I think his expectations were kind of clouded.
Yeah.
But he does give tips on the best way to see it. To get there
Yeah.
early, get front and center, right in front of the.
Sure. That'll be easy with a 5-year-old and a 7-month-old. Yeah, we'll do that.
Well, exactly. So, you can take a look at his site and you can see the photos he took. There aren't a lot of fireworks from what he said.
Yep.
There's
That's
good
okay.
bit
I
of
mean,
lights and lasers
fireworks
and
are.
stuff.
I like fireworks as much as the next
sure.
American, but I mean, this projection technology is incredible. I don't
It
know
is.
anything about the details of it, but I'm watching a video here while we talk from. Was it Attractions Magazine posted a nice video of it, and it's just like it's just phenomenal the quality they get out of that.
Yeah.
Like, where even are these projectors? Do you know? Like,
I don't know. I really don't.
because like at the Magic Kingdom, there's like plenty of places they could like
Hide
kind
them
of stash them to,
yeah.
to hit the castle. But there's look at this video. There aren't that many places. Certainly not anything that close, right?
Right.
Unless they're like at the base of it with like some really, I don't know, some distortion adjustment or something.
right.
Huh.
Because it does have to be pretty bright lights, right, to
Oh my God, yeah.
display it and mask
Right.
the structure behind it, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm amazed at what a good job it does.
Yeah.
Because it's not like your good old fashioned slide projector screen used in school that I mean, this is an actual building with different colors and stuff on it. And
Sure.
it's a non-reflective material.
Right.
Oh, and it goes all the way over to that other building. That what the sound? Is that the one that's on the left?
That's
The thing that
to
the thing that
left
has been
is
so many.
Well,
It was the American Idol experience.
Exactly, and Superstar
Yeah.
Television before that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I didn't realize it was going to project on there too. Wow, it looks
Yeah.
really neat. I gotta check it out.
And then there's snow at the end. So on Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah, I
so
see
as you're
that.
walking
Oh,
out.
that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only downside to this though, well, not the only one, but one of the things that this doesn't capture that Osborne did is you're standing there. You're just standing there.
Right. And
Right.
it
Osborne's
surrounds
great.
you.
Yeah, Osborne's great because you can move around and you
Yeah.
can see different parts. And I mean, I'm trying not to be the old guy like, but I mean, this is neat in its own way. But that is what's missing is you're just sort of
Yeah.
stationary watching the thing. So
And I think Tom actually mentions that kind of in here.
Oh, yeah?
References it. It's a different
yeah,
feel for people
Yep.
who are going there to get to see a Christmas show and to be to get what they always got from Hollywood studios. It's I think that's his point, is that it's not the same. If you're looking for that, it's not the same. For what it is,
No.
it's good, but
Yeah.
for so anyway.
yeah. Huh. Okay. Well, still worth checking out. Looks pretty
Yeah. Yeah. So I look forward to your review of it.
neat. Okay. I'm sure it won't be the quality of Mr. Brickers, but yeah, I should go soon. Very cool. Looks neat.
Yeah, it does. So, as part of Disney's Christmas offerings, which are pretty much in full swing now, I think, right? Except for, I think the only thing that really hasn't started is the Candlelight Processional. I think that starts the day after Thanksgiving, if I'm not mistaken. But I think everything else is pretty much either started or is getting put up, like the Gingerbread House and the Grand Floridian. I saw a picture of that. Like they're still building that. But I think as soon as Halloween is over, they have to start with Christmas.
So that's an interesting. So can I? So I got some questions about that. So, in years past, up until this, up until this year, I would be livid with all this holiday stuff starting because I mean it is now when Halloween ends. I mean Target had Christmas and Halloween stuff out at the same time, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's a clear switch. In years past, this would make me livid. I'd get out my old man cranky hat and I'd start complaining about they're rushing holidays. But this year, I don't care. And
Right.
I don't know why. I'm totally fine with it. I don't know if it's because I now have kids that are, into the, the kind of heart of having fun at Christmas kind of thing, or just it just like last year felt like it was so, like if you try to wait now until what we used to do, which was after Thanksgiving, then get into it. Because I remember putting a tree up at like December 8th, December 10th.
Yeah, that's how we were as kids. Absolutely.
Right. It seems like, boom, it's here and it's gone. And so at least this way, maybe it spreads it out a little bit. You get to enjoy it a little bit more, especially, not to humble brag, but, in a place like Orlando where there are so many things to see and do during Christmas that, with all the different parks have something going on. The resorts have them, like you mentioned, the Gingerbread House. So, there's so many things we try to cram in and movies we want to watch that I'm kind of okay with the extra time. But my question is, it's a long way for me to get to my question. Do you know of, or have you seen, has Disney moved up their, like 20 years ago, when did they start putting up Christmas decorations? Was it like not until December? Have they moved up that timeline as well?
It was the day after Thanksgiving, and it was a big deal because they would purposely wait until the day after Thanksgiving before putting anything up, and they would go ahead. The big thing was, like, magically, Thanksgiving night, if you left the Magic Kingdom and you went to the Magic Kingdom the next day, the tree would be up. Now, the rest of the decorations wouldn't be, but the tree would be up.
Right.
So they would do that during that night. It was and they got up as much as they would decorate all of Main Street that night. They would do as much as they could, but they generally waited until Thanksgiving. But it's been a long time. It was when I was living there, I think we saw the switch, sometime in the mid to late 90s. It probably switched to maybe early 2000s, somewhere in there. I don't know if it was just a result of the resort getting just way too big and they just simply needed time.
They have to start earlier. Yeah.
Yeah. So pretty much they take the Halloween decorations down and they put up the Christmas decorations at the same time because it's just more efficient that way.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. Yeah, the crews out there. How about you personally? When does your family start to?
Well, it's funny you told the little story, but last year is kind of when I gave up and I resigned myself. Because last year I actually put up our tree the weekend before Thanksgiving.
I've never done.
Well, we have an artificial tree now,
but even so,
which took me the longest time to agree to. My wife, her family, they pretty much grew up with in our artificial tree. I didn't. My whole life we had a real tree. When we were in Orlando, we went and got a real tree every year. And then when we moved back here, we got real trees, and but the convenience of it way outweighs the.
We made a switch a few years ago. Yeah,
and so I put it up the week before Thanksgiving, and for that exact reason, because the years before that, it seemed like the Christmas holidays went by in a blink of an eye. So I was like, you know what? If I can get one more extra week out of it, I didn't start decorating the outside of the house until after Thanksgiving, but the inside of the house was pretty much the weekend before Thanksgiving. And I think we might do that again this year because we're kind of all in the Sirius in the cars. Satellite radio. They had their holiday station going already.
Okay.
And
now there is the risk that it's too much
you'll
enjoying
burn
the
out
holiday, right? That you get like by December 8th, you'd be like, okay, enough.
Right. But no, we're full in on it, man.
Wow.
Right now.
Okay.
So anyway, so there's something I want to talk about a little later, and that'll.
All right, we'll get back to that. So back to Disney, but Disney's full in too, right?
Disney's full in, and so one of the things that they're going to be introducing, I don't think it's live yet, but at Disney Springs, they have a new Christmas show, and it's going to be done by drones.
I find this fascinating.
I know you do.
That's fascinating. I have a drone,
so Chris,
right? I like drones. Yeah.
With
I like when you get your formal voice. So, Chris.
With a no-fly
So, do you have any thoughts about
over
this?
Disney World, how in the world did they get permission to do this?
Oh, so we're going to talk about the no-fly zone over Disney?
Sure, let's do that.
Yeah, this thing bothers me. I don't even know how many people know this, but it was after 9/11. Disney lobby the FAA. I guess they had been for a long time prior to that anyway, but finally it hit the tipping point over security that they have an area that's pretty much the size of the Magic Kingdom, I guess, a little bit bigger, up to 3,000 feet, I think it is, of a no-fly zone, which, for any sort of sensibility of safety reasons is complete nonsense. I mean, because, I guess terrorists, they would look at the no-fly zones and go, well, we can't attack that place. There's a no-fly zone there, right? So, so the whole reason that this no-fly zone exists, the only reason in the world, is because Disney hated those little biplanes that would fly over with the long banners that would eat at Joe's, or worse, go to Universal. And so that's the only reason they lobbied to have that no-fly zone. And it's been there for, 15 years now.
Yeah.
And so it's, it would have made more sense if it covered all of Disney World, but it's only the Magic Kingdom, so I guess it's okay if the terrorists, crash stuff in Epcot. Animal Kingdom, who cares? But, so I don't get it. But, I do get it, but it's for silly reasons. But now we have these great technology for drones, right? And, and the problem is now the FAA has gotten involved with drones, and there are rules about where you can fly drones, and you cannot fly drones in no-fly zones. So I guess they lobbied the FAA for an exclusion, and so I saw somebody had a post to scan. I don't know how they would get it. I guess unless it's public record.
I think it is public record.
I guess it would have to be of the actual exception given to Disney to. I don't know the details. Obviously, I've done my homework for the show. I don't know the details of the parameters of their exception, whether it's a permanent one or a temporary for this show, or specifically for these drones. But yeah, so whatever. They got their no-fly zone and they got their exception. So
it is a lot like having your cake and eating it too, right?
It's a little much. It's
yeah. But so let me ask you this: what if I had a drone? Now that they gave this permission, what if I go to Disney Springs and I have a drone and I fly it? I can't.
Nope. No,
because I don't have the waiver.
Well, actually, I didn't even think the no-fly zone covered Disney Springs. I guess it does.
Well, that's what looking at the map of the no-fly zone. This was a few months ago when we were looking at it. It looks like it ended right at the edge of I don't think Hollywood Studios is covered. I think it kind of maybe covers some of or most of Epcot. Because it's a circle, right?
It's a cylinder actually, technically. So because it's a
gotcha,
right,
right.
circular region, and then from ground level up to I think 3,000 feet.
Yeah.
Which is pretty low, by the way. So for those who may not know, 3,000 feet, and then the reason it's that low is because all they're really trying to ban is the little biplanes that go over, because they're flying at probably 1,000 to 1,500 feet. Right?
Yeah.
Obviously, other jets can fly by because they're going to be more in the tens of thousands of feet. So yeah. So I don't know. I guess it's close enough, or maybe they just trying to be.
Or maybe this waiver isn't really for this. Maybe it is for something in the Magic Kingdom, and they're just testing it in Disney Springs, because that was the original. That was the original thought, was that they were going to introduce something in the Magic Kingdom with the fireworks show that. So instead of having a human Tinkerbell, go down that you could have dragons fly, or any different type of thing that you wanted in the sky to complement the fireworks show.
Yep.
And
well, you got to figure. The technology
is
so useful. Drone technology, so many things they could do with it. Even just as simply as they might want to have some drone footage for the holiday parade. Who knows? So there's so much they could do with it. I'm sure that they would like the exception. So. It's a shame. But to answer your question, no, you could not, because the rules for drone flying is if you're going to fly over property that is private property, you have to have the permission of the property owner. So therefore, there's really, you have no leg to stand on, which is a shame. I don't even remember. I think it was a couple of years ago, somebody flew a drone off the top of the Contemporary on New Year's Eve.
Yeah,
that was such great footage,
It was.
But as much as I love drones and flying stuff and cameras, you can't have 6,000 drones just covering.
No, you can't.
Over the park, but yeah. So that all being said, I think the no-fly zone's kind of silly, but I don't. Does this drone thing have a name that they've done at Disney Springs?
I think they're calling them what, Fixels?
Well, that's
that what they're called?
the quote technology, right? But I didn't know if like the show had something
Oh,
catchy
no.
like jingle drone jingle bam or something.
Not yet.
No, okay. But it looks neat. I saw this video of it. I guess they did a rehearsal recently that somebody put video up of. It looks interesting. The only thing I wonder, for anybody who has a drone or have heard them, drones make the most annoying, angry, unsettling noise because they sound like giant wasps, right? When you even if you just have one. And so this thing is, I guess people, if they don't even know what we're talking about. So this show is like they've gotten, I don't know, what's the number? 30, 50, 100, like 1 million drones? They have like 1 million drones in the air.
It's more than one, yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's 1 million. They have like 1 million drones, and they're all like coordinated, right? They all, through whatever system, through the Flixels? Flying Pixels? Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Fixels.
So they have like a sort of real life 3D animated show that goes. It looks pretty neat, but I can't imagine what 1 million drones sounds like. It's got to be terrifying. But maybe they fly high enough that I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm looking at the video, and I just put the sound on, and I didn't really hear the buzzing. That I can hear the music, but
yeah, I guess they're maybe up high enough.
Maybe they're high enough, or could it be that they're small enough that they're quieter?
Well, actually, no. It's kind of like fans in PC gear. When you have the smaller fans, they make the more whiny, obnoxious noise. Versus when you have the bigger fans, they can kind of move a little slower and not make as much noise. That's obvious. So maybe it's the other way around. Maybe these are larger drones. So I don't know. I got to go see it in person, I guess. Right?
Yeah, you do. Have you been out to Disney Springs?
Yeah, I got to do so much stuff. Well, I mean, we went while it was in its transition. Haven't been since it finalized. No.
Yeah, you need to go, man.
Really?
It's a great place, yeah.
I'm not motivated. I don't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I can't wait. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Why? What excites you about going? What do you look forward to going to?
I mean, they have a whole bunch of new restaurants. The shopping, yeah, but I mean, it's just a different feel now. It's really cool.
Huh. Okay. I guess because I was only there in the transit, it didn't seem all that different. It seemed like okay, they're
it's completely, and that's the thing. No, it's completely different now.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm not going to not go. We haven't had the opportunity yet. But I tell you, the one thing I like about it is the parking garage. They should take what they've done with those parking garages, and every parking garage in the world should work like those.
Right.
So
they should.
Anyway, back to the drones. So where are the drones? Like what part of? I can't call it Disney Springs. I just can't. What part of downtown?
To me,
Disney
it looks like it's. To me, it looks like it's over. It's over the lagoon.
That's kind of what I figured. That's kind of where all the happening stuff is, right? I mean, like shows, and that's where the kids perform and whatnot.
Yeah, but it's over the water. I mean, they're doing.
No, I understand.
Yeah,
right. I know, really, they're not doing it on people's heads.
Well, I mean, I hope not.
Thank you for clarifying that for me. So, I'm still looking up the no-fly zone. Oh yeah, no, it does cover Disney Springs. Yep.
Oh, does it really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, and actually, no, I take it back. It does cover Epcot as well.
Yeah, but like it doesn't cover Hollywood Studios all the way. I don't think, right?
It's a big
the reason I think that's the case is because remember when we first started this podcast way back when,
all those years ago,
one of our I guess our second show or our first show, first published show, we talk about the demolition of Hollywood Studios. And
oh yeah, they're right outside.
And we were looking at the aerial shots that somebody took, which appears to be from a plane. And so we were wondering, well, how did they get that close to get these shots? And so that's when we started looking at the boundary for the no-fly zone, and it looks like it's right on the edge.
Well, let's see. I'm gonna waste valuable podcast time looking this up.
That'll be very exciting for our listeners.
You guys just wait.
Here, I'll sing.
Do we have any? I was gonna say there's like little like ballpark music we should play
Right.
while we go through this.
Do, 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 do,
Anyway,
do.
so all right, so drones. I won't make you wait while I look this up, but I'm fascinated now. So yeah, so I got to go check it out. There's no named drone show. It's called the drone show.
Yeah.
The Christmas show of 1,000,000 angry drones.
Right. So
But I do like. I think that's cool. It's kind of like we talked about a little bit last time, where I talked about remember the talking trash can robot thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of doing some different things with different technology to have like little mini attractions. I think.
Well,
it's cool.
You say that, but I'm watching this, and I'm wondering if Disney thinks that this is the replacement for the Osborne lights.
Shut up.
No, I'm being
Is
serious.
that? Are you being? No, there's no way.
Okay.
Really?
I think that's what they're thinking.
What? Okay. I'm sorry. I shouldn't laugh. So tell me, Glenn. What leads you to that conclusion? That ridiculous conclusion.
Well, forgetting that the Osborne lights that you walk down the street and it was all lit up. What was the the main attraction was the music, and then the lights were dance, right?
Dun,
Well,
dun,
what
dun,
is this?
dun,
This is music
Yeah.
with lights in the sky dancing.
dun. It's like you're in a boardroom at Disney,
transforming.
and you're saying this.
Okay,
Hmm.
all right.
Really?
I bet you this
I
is
guess.
it. I bet this is it.
You
I
could be
really
right.
do.
You could be right.
Disney Springs is huge now. They have parking garages. They can in theory handle crowds better. So why not? Why not? They want to draw people there.
Yeah, you might be talking me into this. Maybe you're right. Maybe they. I mean, certainly it's not the replacement. But maybe they think it's the replacement.
And yes, to clarify, I do not believe this is.
So what
a
you're saying
true
is that you
replacement
believe
for it,
that
but
this
I
is
think
exactly
Disney
the same.
thinks. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you're saying this is exactly the same as Osborne Lights. That's what I heard you say. That's what you meant.
No.
That's
I
what I heard you
think
say.
I think the bean counters at Disney said, "Okay, we took away
now we're gonna get letters.
we took away the Osborne lights to put up a Toy Story Land with off the shelf horrible rides." And then, so we're going to put in these drones with lights on them at Disney Springs, and that'll be the replacement for it.
Okay, well, you might be right. I'm not going to look at it that way because then I won't be able to enjoy it. So I'm just going to enjoy it. Very cool. Well, in this time, thanks for filling in. So I have looked it up. I've done my scientific analysis, and I conclude the no-fly zone does not cover Disney Springs. So interesting.
Right.
Yeah. So they must have bigger plans,
Yes, that's what I'm wondering.
or other plans at least. Anyway.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Very cool.
So, Chris, do you have a charity to talk about?
I do. Yeah, I do. Kind of, and what made me pick this one this week, this recording, is kind of like what we were just talking about. It is the holiday season, or the start of it, and I had to run to the grocery store this evening to pick up some stuff because the company potluck is tomorrow, and I had to cook some things. And I was kind of taken aback a little bit that I heard. What do you think I heard there when I got out of my car? What is it? Christmas time, grocery stores. If you connect these things, what do you think?
Salvation Army Santa?
That
ringing the bell?
Yeah, well, he wasn't dressed as Santa, but yes, the Salvation Army volunteers out there ringing the bell. And I'm like, oh yeah, I should bring this up because they are a good organization, right? They do a lot of good. Yes. I didn't know a whole lot about them. I'm not going to retell all their stories here, but they go back quite a ways. And similar to some of the other charities we talked about, they cover a lot of different efforts to improve society and help a lot of people. Based on, they even have their mission statement on their website, of course. Basically, an international movement. So that's my pick this week. I felt bad though because, and it's an interesting thing. I wonder if they've thought about this. Is that I don't carry a lot of cash anymore. And it used to be when I paid with cash, I always had way more change than I knew what to do with. And so they have the red bucket there. You could drop some change in.
Sure.
I didn't have any cash and no change, so I felt bad that I was like, hey, I should give a donation. And it sounds kind of silly, but it'd be nice if they had a mobile pay kind of way to do that. You could just kind of
Yeah.
walk by and, tap and pay, whatever. So if anybody out there is listening at the Salvation Army, you should do that. Glad to help. Anyway, so that's my pick. If nothing else, it goes with the season, and they do some good stuff.
So on November 11th, okay, so last Friday, the Heroes and Legends area,
Oh, yeah.
new attraction
So we're going-
at Kennedy Space Center.
So wait a minute. We're going to go a little farther afield then, right? So we're out of Central Florida. Well, still Central Florida, but
still Central
we're leaving.
Florida.
We're leaving Orlando, right? We're going to talk
We are
about
leaving
some
Orlando.
other place. All
We're
right,
going to
everybody,
take a rocket ship over
buckle
to
in.
the coast.
All right.
So they opened a new attraction, and the smart thing that they did was okay. So the U.S. Astronaut Hall of Fame used to be owned and operated not by NASA,
Right.
and it was a few miles down the road, very near the entrance to the visitor center at NASA, at Kennedy
Yep.
Space Center. But it wasn't officially owned by them. They actually say in here.
So while you look that up, I'll just fill in a little bit. Something that may surprise you, Glenn, is I'm a bit of a space nerd. So
Wait, what?
Yeah, I know.
You?
I know. It's hard to believe. So Kennedy Space Center, I love going there. But I've never actually been to the Astronaut Hall of Fame because it was in a different building.
Yes.
But even though, gosh, it's been a while ago, maybe 5-10 years ago, they started adding where your pass from Kennedy Space Center would also be good at the Astronaut Hall of Fame. So I always intend to go, but I always spend we never get out there as early as I want to anyway, and I always spend more time at Kennedy Space Center and there's just no time left in the day for what. So I never ended up going to the Astronaut Hall of Fame. I always felt bad about that because there's some neat stuff there, and it's where Kennedy Space Center is very much about the program. Obviously, the Astronaut Hall of Fame was more about the men and women that are the people that do that. So always wanted to go, but never got to it. So they've made some changes, right? So
They have. So Kennedy Space Center has operated the Hall of Fame for the last 15 years. I didn't realize it was that long, but
yeah, me either. But it was a separate building, right? Separate location.
8 miles away. Yes.
Right.
So what they've done is they've closed that, and they've built pretty much right by the main entrance. This exhibit, and it is the Hall of Fame, but it's more than that too. It's a Hall of Fame, but it's also Heroes and Legends. So it's about just astronauts in general. What it takes to be an astronaut, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like it's really cool. There's a huge movie that it surrounds you, and there's real footage. There's some CG footage. They've done it so that it kind of, what they say is that the screens kind of just fade away, right? It's like you're just there. So it sounds really, really cool. It sounds like they're using really cool technology to do it. And like you said, I'm a space nerd too, and so anything to get anybody, kids especially, into space and science and everything else, I think is great. So
Yep.
I love Kennedy Space Center. It's been last time I went was 2000 and I think October of 2005.
Wow. Okay.
We went with you.
Yep. I remember. And you haven't been back since, so I think I understand the connection.
Yeah, no, that's not it. Believe me, that's not it. It just, when we take our trips, we try to make the most of our time at Disney because, and I really hate to say this, but we want to maximize our dollar at Disney, right? Because it's so expensive.
Why would you hate to say that, though? Number one, it only makes sense. And number two, Disney's done everything they can possibly do to make that the case, right? I mean, up to and including the Magical Express to get you from the airport should you fly in. So
yeah, exactly.
But it's so worth the trip, though, to get out there.
It is. And we need to do that. Because my kids, they do like the kind of stuff. And so I want to get them out there. And I want to see it, quite honestly.
Yeah. Well, and not just the heroes thing that you just mentioned, but also if you haven't seen it, the shuttle that they have out there, I can't remember what they spent. It was something like $400 million, something ridiculous for the facilities that they put at Atlantis, I think.
Yes, Atlantis.
It is phenomenal, and so if you haven't been out there, and you haven't, but anybody listening, if you haven't been out to the Kennedy Space Center in the last 5-10 years, it is totally different. I mean, I used to love going no matter what because I'm a space nerd, but you could feel that it felt like a little bit sort of like a B attraction, right? It wasn't
right.
It didn't quite have, like, especially if you've been to some place like the Air and Space Museum and someplace like that. If you're really into this kind of stuff, you'd be like, okay, it's talk about the history and whatnot, but it wasn't quite this. It didn't quite have that level. You could tell it felt like a bolt on to an actual facility, which is what it was, right?
Yeah.
But I think if there was any good that came out of the shuttle program ending, it feels like they realized, people are not going to come out here as much anymore because we don't have actual shuttle launches going up. So we need to kind of like kick up our game a little bit. And at least that's kind of how I take it. So it has really evolved into a really amazing place. And that Atlantis exhibit, it rivals anything that I've seen at the Air and Space Museum or any other top-notch museum of any kind in the world. So I imagine this new thing that you're talking about is probably similar. So definitely worth take a day if you have any interest in this stuff at all. Take your kids out, so if they don't have an interest, they can learn about it, get an interest. So very cool. So when you come down next, when you bring the family, we should definitely put that on the agenda. Let's go.
Yeah, we should. In all seriousness, we should.
We'll have a podcast meetup. That way we can.
That sounds good.
We can expense it.
You're right, exactly.
Well, we should go. It looks good. I like the pictures. They look pretty cool.
Yeah. So I don't know. There's not much I can add to that, but because my children haven't been to Kennedy Space Center, we've talked about going to Houston because it's about a 5-hour drive. 5 or 6
Is that all it
drive.
is? Really? Oh wow.
Yeah, to go to Johnson Space Center, and I never have. We just haven't, and so. So anyway, I think as weird as it sounds, even though it's further away, I think it'd be easier to incorporate a trip over to Kennedy Space Center than it would be to do a dedicated drive out to Houston. Although it still would be cool to go to Houston.
I think you got to do both. But I mean, if you have to pick one, I think there is a lot more to see and experience at Kennedy Space Center.
Yeah, there definitely is, especially with the space shuttle there.
Yeah, it's really an impressive setup they have. So, very neat. I mean, even the rocket garden, I just love being out. I just kind of like wandering around the rockets and stuff. Yeah,
and it looks like that's pretty much where they built it. Was right next to that.
Is it a new building, or because there was a building right next to the rocket garden? I don't know if they repurposed it, but
I think that was like a real operational building, right? Wasn't it?
No, the one I'm thinking of would be like you're coming in. It's directly to the left, right before the rocket garden, and that's where they had sort of the old, because they kind of walked you through the eras. So you kind of started off with sort of the origins of the space programs, both in the United States and the USSR, and they actually had hanging up a Soyuz capsule from something. So I don't know if they. Yeah, I have to look at it. I don't know if it was a different building or they just repurposed that. But either way, it looks like they did another top-notch job with it. So good for them.
Yep.
I gotta go. And it's not that expensive, and you don't live close by, but if you do, gosh, for like the price of 1 day admission plus maybe another day or half a day, you can get a whole annual pass to it, and so it's pretty reasonable price-wise.
Yeah. Next, pick of the week.
Oh.
Do you have a pick of the week?
It's that time again. Man, I got so many picks.
Of course you do.
I do. Yeah. What does that mean? I do. I think about this all week. I neglect my family and my job just to come up with good picks for. All right. So should I start?
Yes.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right. So, and it kind of tags on to I don't remember which episode we talked about it, but I talked once about it's kind of like feels like we're living in the carousel of progress now with like home automation and stuff. So it's for 20 years I've been looking at home automation, like really want a way that I could, make it so that voice commands or through touch screens I can control the lights in my house, and we're finally there. I think the technology has finally come to a point and there's enough interest in it that's finally happening. Apple has their HomeKit stuff. But part of the problem with it is that there are still kind of competing standards, if you will, or different platforms that don't all fit together. So the magical piece that one needs to kind of make all this stuff work is some sort of hub to talk to the things. And the one I got about a year ago, I guess when we moved in this house, is from a company called Wink at wink.com. And it is the best because it's not that expensive. I think the cheapest one is like $60. They have a newer one that's more, but I don't even know if it does anything that much greater. But the great thing is that you can look at their page and they show you all the things that they're compatible with. So they basically say, like, you'll have a Wink app and it'll know how to talk to the Wink controller, but then that Wink controller knows how to talk to thermostats from this company and light controls from that company and garage door openers from this other company, and it just sort of pulls it all together. And then you can tag on Amazon Echo. It knows how to talk to Wink, and so all these things fit together. So it is sort of that magical key that unlocks all this stuff. So that's my pick. So go look at the Wink hub, Wink controller, and I'd if anybody's interested in home automation, I'd recommend doing what I've kind of done with it, which is you get a hub like this and just start adding a little bit at a time. I mean, a light switch is like $60 or so you add a couple here, you add a couple there, maybe put in a garage door opener over time, and pretty soon you kind of build up this this nice little system where you bring it all together. So that's my pick, wink.com.
Awesome. My pick is going to be something completely different, and it's actually going to be another podcast.
What?
So I don't listen to many podcasts, but there's one
when I do
that it's a monthly podcast, and I listen to it religiously as soon as it comes out, and it's Retro WDW, or Retro Disney World. RetroDisneyWorld.com is their website, but they do such a good job at they pretty much keep each episode to one topic, and they go through the topic really well. They do their homework. They just like
Wait,
we
what?
just
People
like
do
we
that?
do.
Oh,
But,
yeah, of course, like we do.
But it's so this past month was the golf resort, which what do I care about the golf resort? Like
Sure.
I never stayed there, and it's not even there anymore.
I was going to say it's not a thing anymore, right?
Right, it's not. This month I wasn't looking forward to listening to it because it's like, I don't really care about the golf resort.
Yeah.
But it was really fascinating, and it made me. I found myself the other day. I pulled up Google Maps to look and see what it looked like from today, and I'm like, what do the golf courses look like? Because they're still there. And I started, I'm like, oh man, they don't even have the, I didn't realize it, but they don't have the PGA tournament anymore. That ended in 2012. So there's a lot of stuff that I didn't even really think about or know about the golf resort. And as I was listening to it, and it kind of ticked me off because I kind of pride myself on knowing a lot of the history of Disney, but the golf resort was always this quiet resort that was off the monorail line, and it catered, obviously to golfers, but it was just fascinating. Every episode is like that, whether you think it's going to be boring or not. The one before that was probably their best one, and it did. What made me think about it was when you said, living in the Carousel of Progress. Right. It was on the Carousel of Progress, and they covered it all the way from the World's Fair. They told about the changes each time it moved and was updated. And it was, I learned quite a few things about it, and which shocked me, because I really thought I knew everything I could know about it. But so anyway, so give them a listen. They're entertaining, and I guarantee you'll learn something.
And where would I find them, Glenn, if I didn't already have them in my podcatcher?
Go to RetroDisneyWorld.com, and you can follow them. They have links to all of everywhere you can subscribe to them.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah, they are good. I've listened to a couple episodes because you mentioned them to me. So yeah,
Yeah.
nice pick. After you listen to our podcast, of course.
Oh, well, of course. I mean, this is the best. How could anybody not think that this is the best?
I mean, anybody could have a very thoroughly researched show with a lot of good information. I mean,
Right.
anybody could do that.
Absolutely.
You can't just put this stuff together.
No,
Great
not
pick.
at all.
Great pick, Glenn. I like it.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Terrific Recordings of Nothing. Follow Chris on Twitter and Instagram at CBGray, and Glenn on Twitter and Instagram at DizWiz. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Tron_FM, and on Facebook at Terrific Recordings of Nothing. For all things related to the show, including show notes and links to connect with us, visit us at Tron.fm. There's just one other thing I want to talk about.
Oh, no.
And it relates back to our Christmas discussion earlier and how early we are introducing Christmas. And I don't know if anybody watches the Hallmark Channel.
So, yeah, I mean, yeah, we occasionally do when we, but it's usually like December, I don't know, 18th. It might kind of show up on our TV and play for a couple of weeks.
So
Is that what you do too as well? Like late December, like just a few days before Christmas? Is that what you do? Because they have those and they're so, and you know what's a whole rant about this. So they have those shows that like they all feel like somehow they all feel like Hallmark shows, and they're all so super wonderful and sweet. I don't know what secret sauce they put in. They all feel away, but yeah, Christmas time you watch that. So late December.
yeah, not in the Welch household.
No.
No.
What, early December?
No. Let's try early November.
Early November. Do they even
Yeah.
broadcast the Hallmark Channel in early November?
So that's actually what I'm trying to look and see the date that they actually switch over. But at some point after Halloween, they switch over. Okay, so from the first weekend in November until January 1st, they do no other programming except for Hallmark Christmas movies.
Wow.
And
Do they have any?
guess what?
Do they show any Hallmark commercials during all this stuff?
No, what they do is they have a lot of product placement in their movies.
Do they really?
Oh my goodness.
I never really noticed. I'm
Folgers
curious.
is
I
a
never really
big
noticed.
sponsor.
Oh my god! I did
Every
not know that.
movie they're drinking Folgers coffee and like they get up to specifically make it and everything.
Merry
else.
Christmas, Jim. Would you like a cup of Folgers coffee?
That's pretty
Why,
much it.
thank
And
you,
one
man.
of them they actually zoomed in on the
No,
container.
they did not. Shut up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They did.
I don't. I'm so split on product placement because on the one hand I roll my eyes and I hate it, but it's kind of charming in a way, right? It's a little
Right.
like back in the olden days of TV, because that's
Right.
how it used to be done, right?
That's right. And if it saves me from watching a 30-second Folgers commercial, hey, let's go with it.
That's great.
So anyway, so
but you sound kind of grinchy about this. You sound like you're not happy that it's already done.
no, Chris, that's what's ticking me off is that I'm getting sucked into it. Don't you
Of course.
understand? That's what's so frustrating. Is
'Cause
I'm
your
watching
alternative
and
is-
every movie is the exact same. It's just
Of
different
course.
people, and it's not even that different of people. It's the same people, just in different movies.
Yeah, of course.
It's like which one is
the old-
this?
It's like the old Scooby Doo cartoons. Remember, it was the exact same plot in every single Scooby
It
Doo,
is
right?
It is
Yeah.
the exact same plot.
Yeah.
It happens in a small town.
Yep.
Two
So
people.
I
who-
probably just moved to the small town for some reason, like
Right, or
know,
you have,
I got
or you
divorced,
work
or I
in the
lost my
big-
job, and
or you work in the big evil city,
right.
and you have to find your Christmas spirit, and you go
Right.
there, and it's the
Yeah.
the stunningly good-looking handyman who introduces you to the city, and
Well, wait a minute. It
and
could also
somehow
yeah,
you fall in love with him.
But if it's a
and-
rural setting, it could also be the kindly fatherly neighbor, who whose wife has passed not that long ago.
Exactly.
Together,
yes.
you find compassion and the love for the holidays through your differences and
Right.
trying to find your way through the world. Could be that too. As while you enjoy your Folgers coffee,
That's right. So my wife, she starts watching it and puts it on, and I hate to say it, but I'll sit there and watch it. Like I enjoy it.
Of course you do. You
I
know why?
hate that. I hate
No.
myself.
Of course you do. You enjoy it. You know why? Because any other channel you put on right now is just going to be full of misery and pain and anxiety. So of course you're going to retreat into the safe confines of the Hallmark Channel. Of course.
But Chris,
don't put
you
Chris
don't understand.
I've seen Hallmark Channel.
But wait,
Yeah.
but it's
What?
gotten so bad because it's been like this the last 3 years. But this year, like Tammy's looking at me like, wouldn't it be nice to live in a small town like that?
Because that's exactly
like
what it's like. Is the Hallmark Channel.
It's really affected. Like it's like, oh my god, I think she's starting to believe this. Like, like all the worries would go away. if we lived
I will
in a
say
small
that-
town where it snows.
I will say that I didn't live
And
there.
if she
I
listens
lived.
to, I know she can hear me from here. She's
Hi, Tam.
gonna bop me on the head when we're done.
Sure. So, I lived in a small town once. I think the official population was like 2,500. Mathis, Texas. It's the middle of
Oh.
nowhere between San Antonio and Corpus Christi. And I will say though, and I've lived in a lot of different kinds of places. That was one of, and I didn't live there that long, maybe 6 months, 9 months. That was one of the most enjoyable places I lived. And you know,
Really?
like our neighbor, he was a beekeeper. He had a bee, and and everybody, it like they show in the Hallmark movies. Everybody was like so welcoming and just genuinely nice, and so there may be something to that. I'm just saying,
That's
don't knock
true.
it until you try it. But it's okay, isn't it okay, Glenn? Come on, especially this time of year, isn't it okay to have a little bit of optimism? So what if it's a little sappy and unrealistic? Don't we
No,
do that?
exactly. That's why I watch them. It's just that I feel so goofy for watching them because it's like
Well, number
it's the
one, you
exact same thing over and over and over.
But number one, nobody forced you to make this announcement to the podcasting world, so you could have kept it to yourself. So it's okay.
That's absolutely true.
It's okay. It's okay to have some more kindness in the world. And the other thing is, I know a lot of the other shows you watch, and so you're not missing. You're
So
not missing
Glenn,
anything.
Guess what, buddy?
If it's that or Two Broke Girls, I think you're okay. No offense to the producers of Two Broke Girls. So yeah, Hallmark. So it sounds like what we're both saying is that, and this is not what the show is supposed to be about. We're supposed to be the two cranky old guys talking about how this world today. So what we're saying is we're softening a little bit, right? And it's okay. It's okay.
Yes, that's
Glenn,
right.
listen. You know what? It's okay to love.
I guess it is. I guess it is. Melt that evil heart of mine.
Hugs, everybody.
Oh, yes.
All right. I think we have
we're
we have
done
made a
for this
bad
week.
turn here somewhere. This could only get worse. Hallmark
All
Channel.
right. Next week we're going to talk only about photography.
Are we? Is that going to be a thing?
But I mean, we could, but I have no problem with
Why
that.
not? Why not?
Okay.
Well,
We could talk about.
You said it like a threat.
We
You
can
know
talk
what?
about
You know what?
getting
Next week-
ready for our
Oh, we're gonna
Rolex 24 expedition.
That's what I'm. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Because a lot of. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
You said it like a threat. You said it like a threat, though. You know what? Next week.
Well, I'm
we're talking about
threatening our
photography.
listeners. 'Cause what if they're not into photography? But who isn't into photography?
There's another podcast I listen to. It's a technical one about the programming. You don't have to keep this in the show, but they do something interesting. And about once a month, they break from their normal topic, which is whatever Microsoft programming languages, and they have a blank geek out show where they just pick like a topic that they're interested in, and they completely veer off and they just talk about that. They'd be like, we're going to talk about fly fishing. It's the Fly Fishing Geek Out Show, and whatever their passions are. I think that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Kind of different thing because it's in your stream. Why not?
Yeah. Well, I think we'll do. Well, next week's what? Thanksgiving week.
Oh yeah.
So we have to.
We'll do something.
I mean, do you have to prepare for Thanksgiving dinner with the family?
Yes, my family here. We will have Thanksgiving dinner. Smell.
on Tuesday. Though?
No, probably not on Tuesday. What was I gonna say? Shoot, I forgot.
I don't know.
Darn. Me with it. See, I'm trying to keep this PG. Darn it. Usually be like F-bomb, S-bomb. It's hard for me. It's hard for me to keep that. Gosh, what was I going to say? I forgot. All right. We're done. Can I stop recording now?
Yes.